Today, we are presenting our Occupational Safety and Health or OSH case study. As outlined on our slide, the primary objective of this project is to take the fundamental safety principles we have learned in class and apply them directly to a real-world environment. By conducting this case study, our purpose is to cultivate practical observation skill, enhance our ability to recognize hidden hazards, and foster critical analysis regarding everyday safety conditions. For our selected site, we choose a two-story house which is currently functioning as a student hostel. Specifically, this is unit BJR2 located at Taman Pinggiran UMK. Why did we choose this specific location? It's because a student residential hostel is a highly active multipurpose living environment. Students eat, sleep, study, and socialize there on a daily basis. Repurposing a standard residential home into a high-density student accommodation introduce a very unique combination of domestic and structural risks. Assessing this environment provide an excellent opportunity to evaluate how these physical, biological, and ergonomic hazards directly impact the daily users.
Next, I will explain the background of our study case location. This student hostel has two main floors. On the ground floor, there is a living room used as a study area, a bedroom, and a bathroom. On the upper floor, there are a bedroom and a communal study space. The main function of this building is for daily living, personal hygiene, resting, and doing study group tasks together. Moving on our site observation, let's look at the ground floor first. For housekeeping and layout, the table and chair are arranged neatly against the wall. This is good practice because it keeps the main wall away from any blockage. However, the main safety issue is the flooring quality. The floor uses polished ceramic tile, which are very slippery. This slippery floor creates a high risk of slipping and falling for all students staying here. Next, let's look at the physical evidence for the central staircase. Our observations show that this curved staircase has a serious safety issue. As you can see in figure 2, the iron handrail is loose, shaky, and unstable. Also, in figure 3, the step is very smooth and do not have any anti-slip safety tape. The combination of shaky handrail and slippery step make it very easily for students lose their balance, slip, and fall down the stair. Finally, for upper floor evidence, from the aspect of hospital layout, there are too many red chairs and desks crowded in small area, make the space very cluttered. Which is more dangerous is emergency and evacuation risk. This table and chair are placed directly outside the bedroom door. This creates a physical blockage that narrow the escape route and delay students from escaping safety during an emergency like a fire.
Now let's move into section 4. Hazard identification and risk analysis. To organize what we face in our daily life here, we sorted these problems into three main groups: physical hazard and unsafe condition, operational risk, and environmental concern. First, let's look at the physical room and the building structure itself. From living here, we notice that these hostel rooms get very hot and stuffy in the afternoon. This happens because there is no fresh air coming out into the room. It makes it very hard for us to sit down, study, or even get a good rest comfortably. We experience a big problem at our study desk every single day. The lights are placed badly and are way too dim. Because there isn't enough natural light, we forced to use the bulb instead. In long exposure, this can easily cause tiredness and bad headache. On top of that, we have another major lighting issue outside. There are missing light bulbs at the back of our hostel. This makes the whole back area completely black at night, which is very dangerous when we need to walk out there. If you look at the picture, you can see that parts of our ceiling plaster are cracked and loose. This is very dangerous because piece of the ceiling could break off and fall down on our head at any time of the day. The stairs we use every day to get to our room are another dangerous area. The handles are shaky and loose, and the steps have broken edges. This makes it easy for someone to slip, lose their balance, and fall down the stairs. Inside our bedroom area, the double-decker bunk beds are unsafe. The top bed does not have any safety guardrails to stop someone from rolling off while sleeping. To make it worse, the windows next to our beds are very low and don't have any safety grills, so a student could easily fall out. Next, let's talk about everyday safety and what happens if there is an emergency in our hostel. Our building has limited fire safety tools. There are no smoke alarms, no fire sensor, and there is only one exit door. If a fire starts, it will trap us inside and make it very hard to escape safely. We live right next to loose bay wires and messy, tangled extension plugs that sit right by our beds. If we accidentally touch them, we could get a painful electric shock or the wire could spark and start a fire. Finally, we have found several health and cleanliness dangers in our daily routine. Water has leaked into our walls and ceiling, causing green mold to grow. This mold releases tiny spores into the air that we breathe in constantly. Next, hygiene and pest infestation. This point is about the general cleanliness of the room's environment. Because the building maintenance is poor, a serious pest problem has developed. Pests like ants, cockroaches, and rats have come inside, and we are walking all over our living area and contaminating our food supplies. Next, personal hygiene and poor sanitation. This point focuses directly on the unhygienic facilities we have to use for our daily personal cleaning. Many parts of the toilet flush, tank, and sink are broken. Because they are broken, they have become a home for germs and bacteria to grow. Using this broken facility to wash our hands, brush our teeth, and clean up daily exposes us directly to harmful bacteria. We have open bags of mothballs left inside our closet with no airflow, making us inhale chemical vapor daily. Also, when washing clothes, touching laundry detergent powder with bare hands causes personal skin irritation, making our hands red and itchy. To look at these daily problems more deeply, we didn't just list them. We created a risk analysis dashboard. We put every danger into a simple 3x3 risk matrix to score them based on two things: severity, which means how bad the injury could be, and likelihood, which means how easy it could happen. Through our analysis, we looked at who is in danger and found out two main groups face this risk every single day: the resident student, like us who live here, and the school cleaner who come in to tidy up our building. Let's look at how we group these risks on our dashboard. First, high risk tier. We put fire safety and electrical danger into high risk group. If we look at fire, the chance of a big fire happening might be low, but if it does happen, the result is deadly because we have no alarms and only one way out of the room. Students could get severe burns and even die. Electrical problems are also high risk because these messy wires are right next to where we sleep. A dangerous electric shock could happen at any moment while we are resting in our sleep. Next, heat, poor light, falling ceiling pieces, and wrist falling are all combined into the moderate risk group. The reason for this is that they can cause sudden and painful physical injuries or heavy body strain. For example, if a student rolls off the top bunk bed or slips on the broken steps, they can easily break an ankle. The dim desk light causes chronic eye strain, while the missing bulb at the back of the hostel means someone could easily trip and fall heavily in the pitch dark at the night. At the same time, the loose ceiling plaster can drop down without warning, causing serious head injuries to a student or to a cleaner walking directly under it. Last of all, mold, domestic pests, poor personal hygiene, sanitation, and chemical exposure are listed as low risk. Even though this problem won't hurt us internally, they cause long-term health problems because we're around them every day. Breathing in mold spores all the time causes breathing allergy. Poor domestic hygiene bring in pests that cross-contaminate our food, causing painful stomach infection. On the personal hygiene side, using a toilet with a stained flush tank and a dirty, mold-seeing area means we are constantly touching surface covered in bacteria, which can cause skin breakouts, eye infection, or stomach bugs over time. Finally, touching laundry powder by hand destroys the skin on our hands.
I will now evaluate the suitability of this location based on the hazard we just discussed. Looking at the physical and structural aspect, this facility fails to meet basic habitable standard due to a several lack of building maintenance. We observe loose and broken ceiling plaster that poses a constant threat of falling debris. Additionally, routine daily movement is transformed into a high-risk activity due to the steep, uneven central staircase equipped with a swaying railing as well as missing safety guardrail on the window. Furthermore, we identify several sanitary and biological failure. The sanitary infrastructure has failed under the strain of high occupancy, leading to poor plumbing network and potentially contaminated water. Poor ventilation has resulted in pervasive dampness and mold growth, while inadequate domestic hygiene has created an active breeding ground for disease-carrying pests like cockroach. Because of this extreme physical biological hazard, our final verdict is that the current location is entirely unsuitable for its intended function as a student university hostel. Ultimately, this represents a major OSH principle failure. The environment failed to proactively minimize risk to the health, safety, and welfare of its users, and therefore require immediate safety interventions.
Now that we have identified the hazard at this hostel, let's look at how they can actually be fixed. For this, our group applied the hierarchy of control, a safety framework that ranks control measures from the most effective to the least effective, starting with elimination and substitution, then engineering control, and finally, administrative control and PPE. Based on the hazard we observed, we focus on two levels, engineering control and administrative control, since these directly address the constructural and behavior issues we found on the site. First, engineering control. This involves physical modifying the environment to remove the hazard at its source. The loose handrail on the central staircase need to be revealed and securely anchored so it can actually support a student wake if they lose their balance. The wider staircase, with its uneven curved step, should be reshaped or reconstructed to give a consistent tread width. Right now, the inconsistent step make it very easy to misjudge a step and fall. And across all the stair tread, we recommend installing anti-slip strip since the polished surface offer almost no grip, especially when wet. Second, administrative control. This manage how people behave within the existing environment. The tangled and exposed electrical wire near the bed should be bundled using cable organizer or conduct, removing the trip and shock hazard along walkway, and we recommend enforcing standard housekeeping rules so that the furniture and clutter no longer block bedroom doors and emergency walkway, keeping escape route clear at all times. Each of these recommend was chosen because it directly targets a hazard we identified early, the staircase defect, the electrical risk, and the blockade walkway, rather than just treating the symptom. By combining stronger engineering fix with consistent administrative practice, the hostel can significantly reduce at risk of slip, trip, and fall incidents and create safer living environment for to all student residents.